Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're actually going to look right under the hood of the global economy to dissect the fundamental mechanics of business revenue and profit. Whether we're talking about your local neighborhood coffee shop or some massive multinational conglomerate, their underlying financial engines operate on the exact same principles. So we're going to look way past those surface level numbers and really explore the core unit economics. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what separates the businesses that absolutely thrive from the ones that, well, just quietly disappear.
So you might be wondering, is making money in business really just about selling things? Like you just hand over a product, take some cash, and call it a day? Well, not quite. There's actually a super precise and, frankly, pretty unforgiving financial engine running in the background. It dictates everything: pricing power, margin pressure, long-term viability, the whole shebang. Today, we're going to dismantle that exact engine piece by piece to truly understand how value is captured.
To do that, we're breaking this massive topic down into a few digestible pieces. First up, understanding revenue. Second, costs and profit. Third, we'll look at common business models. And finally, scaling up.
Right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Understanding Revenue, or simply, money in. Literally, every business starts with one absolute baseline metric, and that's revenue. It is the total money flowing in from selling products or services. But here's the thing, don't think of revenue as the final measure of success. Instead, think of it as the raw fuel needed to start the engine. It's your top-line number, the gross influx of capital before a single solitary bill gets paid. Without this continuous stream of fuel coming in, the entire machine just grinds to a halt. Okay, let's dive into this and ground that abstract idea with some real-world unit economics. Picture this, you're running a morning coffee stand. Over a really busy 2-hour rush, you absolutely crush it and sell exactly 100 cups of coffee, charging $5 a pop. Boom, your top-line revenue for that morning is $500. It's an incredibly exciting number to see ringing up, right? And it's super easy to look at that cash drawer and feel like, wow, we just had a massively successful day. But hold on a second, because here is the most common misconception in business finance. It's a total psychological trap that has sunk literally countless ventures. Revenue is not the same as profit. Earning that $500 top line does not mean you're actually putting $500 into your personal bank account. That cash register total, it's kind of an illusion if you aren't accounting for what it took to generate that money in the first place. Which brings us to our second section, the necessary complication: costs and profit, or money out. Because to generate that $500, you had to spend money first. You had to buy premium coffee beans, the paper cups, those plastic lids that always seem to crack when you snap them on. You paid rent for that prime sidewalk space, hourly wages for your barista, and of course, the utility bills to keep that espresso machine running hot. In the real world, every single transaction has this invisible tail of expenses that's just constantly eating into your top line. That, my friends, is what we refer to as margin pressure. Now, once all those operational expenses are finally cleared out, what you arrive at is profit. Profit is the money left over after paying all your costs. It's what the business actually keeps. This is the ultimate goal, the true reward for taking the risk of running the business. More importantly, it's the truest measure of financial health. It's what determines whether a business can weather a bad storm or if it's just constantly living on the brink. And this brilliantly illustrates how the math actually splits in reality. If our coffee shop earned $500 in revenue, but we spent, say, $350 on our beans, cups, rent, and staff, we're only left with a $150 profit. Those expenses took a massive bite out of our revenue. Food and beverage is a notoriously tight industry, and this right here highlights exactly why. You're left with a much smaller, though absolutely vital, slice of the pie. That $150, that is the actual economic value you generated for yourself that morning. Okay, let's shift into Section 3. Common business models, exploring the 3 main ways to earn. So how do these simple math formulas apply out in the real world? Well, the incredibly complex global economy generally boils down to just 3 primary frameworks. Whether we're looking at a tiny mom-and-pop shop or a massive publicly traded behemoth, their financial engine almost always falls into one of 3 buckets: selling products, selling services, or subscriptions. Let's start with the first, and honestly, the oldest model in human history: selling products. This is where a business creates a physical item from scratch, or buys it wholesale, and then sells it at a higher price to the customer. It's a very straightforward exchange of goods. But the real challenge here is moving physical inventory, managing some pretty complex supply chains, and dealing with all the logistics and storage that come with it. So the crucial point is that the gap between your production costs and your retail price is your profit margin. Let's say a tech giant spends $200 making a brand new smartphone and then sells it for $800. That's a $600 difference. But wait, that $600 isn't purely profit just yet. That hefty margin actually acts as a massive buffer. It has to cover corporate overhead, global marketing campaigns, and all the relentless R&D required to invent next year's model way before it ever becomes true bottom-line profit. The second framework shifts away from physical objects entirely and focuses on human capital, selling services. We're talking about doctors, lawyers, barbers, web designers. They are monetizing their specialized skills and their time. When you hire a lawyer, you're not buying a stack of paper, you're buying their highly trained expertise. Now, the huge advantage here? Virtually no physical inventory to store. The downside? Your revenue ceiling is strictly capped by the number of billable hours in a single day. Then we have the third model, the one that absolutely dominates the modern era: subscriptions. Giants like Netflix, big enterprise software companies, or hey, even your local gym, they charge a recurring fee. Instead of fighting tooth and nail for a single, friction-filled sale every single time, they focus on maximizing a customer's lifetime value. Once you're locked into their ecosystem, they just keep generating revenue from you month after month, year after year. So why exactly is this the absolute holy grail of modern business strategy? Simple. It provides predictable, steady income. And man, that is valuable. Imagine being a business owner and waking up on the first of the month, already knowing exactly how much revenue is automatically going to hit your bank account. It drastically reduces financial anxiety. It's also exactly why financial markets hand out massive valuation multipliers to subscription businesses compared to traditional retailers. For sure, predictability equals stability. Now for our final section, scaling up, where we look at reinvesting for growth. Let's move to and see how this builds. Once a business achieves a healthy profit, the absolute smartest operators do not just sit on that cash. No way. They aggressively reinvest to scale up. They funnel those profits right back into the machine, hiring top-tier talent, opening up new locations, creating totally new products, and reaching out to more customers. They're essentially doing more with what they already have, creating this powerful compounding effect where today's success directly finances tomorrow's exponential growth. Ultimately, all of this distills down to one ironclad equation: high revenue plus managed costs equals survival and growth. If you can scale that top line while keeping a ruthless leash on your expenses, your business is going to thrive. But if you let your expenses outpace your revenue, even for just a little while, those precious cash reserves burn up fast. And once that happens, the countdown to closure begins. Discipline is literally everything here. So whether you are analyzing a tiny corner tea stall or a sprawling billion-dollar tech monopoly, the core idea is exactly the same. They are all bound by the undeniable gravity of revenue and costs. So the next time you buy a coffee or pay that monthly software subscription, I want you to ask yourself, what exactly are their costs and what is their true margin on my purchase? How will you apply this way of thinking? Keep analyzing, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.